Dave Palumbo, and I'm about to give you a little glimpse into my world. This is my life. All right, well, Jeff, what did you think about what Dr. Blau said? Now he's got like multi-modalities.
Now I was actually going to ask him if he'd give me an assessment, because now
you're paranoid, right? Now you know there's something wrong.
So now I know he's going to find like a cancerous freckle somewhere. But this is the most vulnerable position I've ever seen you in.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to have needles shoved in my head. I don't mind putting them in my ass, but not in my head. But let's see what he can do. Well, the Botox I've had before, it's a little painful because they stick you like 4,000 times with a needle.
Right.
I don't care how small the needle is. After a while, by the 18th shot, it hurts.
How does it compare to like getting a tattoo? Is it any way similar? Or
it's similar, but yeah, it's not as bad. Tattoo is worse because
Gotcha.
it doesn't last as long. But it's like he wants you to furrow your head. You'll see. He's going to want me to furrow my head like this while he's doing it, and it's not comfortable. Now, I never had the other thing into the cheek. I don't know what he's talking about. The radiance. Yeah, that's a little nerve wracking. I have a feeling my face is going to look like this when I leave.
You're going to lose your character.
That's right. I don't want to know. I got to have character lines. I got to make you guys laugh. See what I do for the RX muscle community? All right, I'm ready. All right, you got the small needle for the Botox? You got the 31 gauge? All right. He used to use the 26 gauge, which hurts a lot more. The larger the gauge, the smaller the needle.
Yeah, it's still,
So what gauge is this now?
30 gauge is like smaller than an insulin needle. It's a tiny pin, but what happens is after you get stuck a few times, it starts getting dull.
Gotcha.
So that's what the problem is. And I have a very thick forehead. It's like, I think the connective tissue there is a little thicker. It doesn't go through as easy, the needle. All right, he's mixing that stuff. What do you have to do? You have to put water in there, or is it already pre-mixed?
No, it's pre-mixed.
Okay, you just draw it up. Who would have thought 20 years ago that we'd be putting botulism toxin into our heads? Now they use this stuff, I heard that they use it to stop sweating under your underarms. Have you ever heard that, Modi?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you do.
Have you done any of that?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I mean, very little.
All right, here he goes.
This is a little bit painful, but it still hurts, unfortunately. But you are a good patient.
It tickles. I'm already uncomfortable, but it's good. See what I do for you guys?
Okay.
I always seem to, for some reason, lower, or like above the eyelid, eyebrow. It doesn't seem to paralyze that area as well.
Yeah, sometimes.
I have like one little wrinkle that doesn't smooth out.
Because if you go too close, sometimes the eyebrow, you can have the eyelid you might have ptosis.
My eyelid will drop. Yeah, that's not good. You don't want your eye to drop. Yeah, it'll look like Nicole Bass.
Not much more. You're doing beautiful, I must say. Oh, I mean it.
You should always bring the camera in.
I think
Tickles.
that's probably enough. Just try to give you. Okay.
It wasn't so bad. See?
You did very, very well.
It wasn't so bad. A lot of people don't know about this stuff that exists. I didn't really know about the radiance that men could get this too. I know that women went and got collagen in their face, but this is what it used to be called? Didn't it have another name?
Yeah, Juvederm.
Juvederm.
No.
What's the difference?
It's still Juvederm.
Oh.
It's radiance. Each one they're similar, but they're different. The formula is different. Yeah. So this is the nasolabial. This I'm just gonna put a little bit. I don't know. And actually, it's usually not that bad.
Yeah, the needle in the cheek doesn't hurt that much.
Because there's some local anesthesia there. Let's say just a little filler here. Yeah, so it's really not bad.
No problem, guys. This one doesn't hurt.
I see, yeah, this one is a lot better. And again, this is the nasolabial fold. So basically, you put it in the fold.
This is like collagen. Is that what this is?
It's a filler, like collagen,
Filler, okay.
but it's another base. But you can compare it just for comparison, but it's not exact. It just makes it a little bit less.
Okay.
It's not. I think sometimes it's a little bit too much. It makes it. I think it's gonna look better. You like it, guys? Because it's less. You know what? It just makes this area less.
I got to say that Dave took it like a champ. There's no way in hell, at least not at this present point in my life, or probably within the next 30 or 60 or 100 years, that I will ever get that procedure done. It reminds me too much of a Frankenstein movie where someone is going to start sticking various probes into my head. And, Dave says he's a bleeder, but I think that's like a nice way of him saying, if you get this, you got some serious cojones. So I think he had a lot of guts for doing it. Obviously the guy's used to taking multiple injections over the last 20 years, so this is very easy for him. But in all seriousness, I think that it actually turned out pretty good. He looks better, and as anyone would when you're messing with the face area, you get a little, reserves about how you may look, but I think that Dave's going to end up really liking it.
Let me just show you with the mirror.
Let me see. Let me see.
You're not going to see much, but it's less.
Yeah, it smoothed off those lines, yeah.
It lessens it. Yeah. You still have here, but it lessens it.
You don't want to take away my dimples.
No, they're still there, but they're not as pronounced, which is nice. I think it's nice.
All right, well, if Dr. Blau, the artist, says so, I believe it. See, now my fear is, that's why I get all these little freckles removed, anything on my face, because you never know, it could turn into, melanomas. Am I correct, Dr. Blau?
Yeah, but this one is very small, but in general, if they're larger, it can turn.
I think you're better off, right? Better safe than sorry. That's what I always say.
Yeah, but basically, a lot of them are, if it bothers you aesthetically, but...
I always wonder, you ever see these movie stars, Dr. Blau, that have like these moles all over their face? Mm-hmm. Russell Crowe comes to mind.
This is a tiny little... I'll try just to shave it a little.
When he pulled out the razor blade, and I knew he was going to cut that little freckle off my head without any anesthesia, I said to myself, oh boy, I hope this doesn't hurt. Now he had done something like this before, but not on my forehead, so I was a little nervous at first. And when I felt him starting to scrape, it was kind of like, someone taking their fingernail and digging it into your skin over and over and over again. And it's not a pleasant feeling, but it wasn't terribly painful. From what Dr. Blau tells me, it's actually more painful to get the lidocaine injections to numb the area. So it took 2 seconds. It was worth it. I would do it again. Like I said, I don't like any marks on my body.
It's hard to see. Okay, I think you're okay there. Let me put a little bench on it. Just put a little pressure on this.
Now Russell Crowe has these moles all over his face, and I can never understand why a good plastic surgeon wouldn't contact him like yourself and say, "Look, come in, I'll do it for free." Yeah. Why do you think these guys all over his face? These guys got it.
I don't know. He just doesn't want it.
I don't think these guys know any better. Well, what about that Sarah Jessica Parker? She's got that big mole on her chin. She looks like the Witch of the West.
Yeah, but you know what? She has some other stuff that.
Yeah, right. She's got other problems. You should do her nose too.
Wake up tomorrow.
You know what the problem with getting this stuff done is? Because once you get it done once, then you got to want to keep getting it done, because when it wears off, at least the stuff in your head, then you're like, I got to come back and get it. So it's addictive. So I try not to get it too much. Like, I only got this once a couple times before, and I did this for you guys so you guys can see. But this is good if you're looking to take away the lines in your head or to look a little younger. These are therapies that are not expensive. They're not forever. So if you don't like the way they look, they'll reverse themselves. And, I guess it's the prelude to the old facelift that we might need 10, 15 years from now. But for now, we're going to use these little modalities. Modi Blau is a phenomenal surgeon. He's very good. He's very artistic, and it's important that you use a doctor that has some kind of an aesthetic eye that like we talked about earlier today. You can call his office here in White Plains, and he really is very open. You can come in here anytime. I called him up yesterday, and I said, we're coming in, and he was like, come on down. So that's about all there is to do, or all there is to say today. I think we're going to maybe get him to take us out to a little sushi lunch.
I know Dave for over 20 years, and I looked at him today, and I saw that he has a few lines in the forehead and nasolabial from the mouth into the nose. It was deep, and it definitely was deeper than 20 years ago. So, you know, we just were talking about just filling those lines and paralyzing the lines of the forehead, paralyzing the muscle of the forehead, which is done really with Botox. The lines and between the nose and the mouth, we call it the nasolabial lines. We filled a little bit with the radiance, and I think now he looks better. And I think that it's a mild change, but it looks good. Looks good now.
Dave got a couple of needles in his forehead, so now I have to be the other guinea pig and get an evaluation. I don't like taking my shirt off or anything, but I'll do it because Dave was nice enough to bleed, okay? So
let me start. Let's see if you have gynecomastia.
All right, let's check it out.
Okay, you should take your shirt off, and I'll tell you. Actually, it's not bad, but you have a little bit. You can see when you touch here, it's very mild. Very mild, but you can see here there's a little fold. It's very mild. This side you have a little bit more than here, but it just...
What would a procedure be like this? Would it be a procedure?
No, because it's minimal. It's minimal, and it's mainly in the left breast. It's more unilateral. I say the right breast is almost nothing. The left breast is a little bit. And you can see it sometimes you see it more when you're warm. When the body is warm, then it's more pronounced. And when it gets cold, when you take your shirt off, then it's less pronounced. But it's absolutely minimal, I must say.
So you wouldn't even think that he would need it?
No, he wouldn't need it because it's minimal. I mean, he has the pectoralis muscle, which is nice, and very little fat tissue, and minimal gynecomastia in the left side. So he's not a good candidate for surgery.
So maybe I should stand this way more so that the rest of the gyno bounces out.
You know what? We can fight.
So, Jeff, are you happy that it's...
Yes, because I actually thought it was a little worse, but I knew it was on this side. But I wasn't sure how much, but you know, it's good to get the confirmation that it's not that bad.
No, it's absolutely
Dr. Blau, if he was a woman, he would have one breast bigger than the other.
Yeah, well, you know, everybody, the breast is also asymmetrical. Everybody has asymmetry, and it's very, very common that if somebody does have gynecomastia, he'll have more on one side than the other side. And if somebody has minimal, it's typical that one side is going to be almost nothing, the other side is minimal. So
now, if he wanted to compete, he probably would want to get this done. You would do this for him, obviously, but even though it's minimal, right?
Yeah, but though we might, if he'd want to compete and if he'll be in a certain shape and he'll feel that this is in his way and it's more pronounced, definitely. Because the scar is minimal with this.
While we were in Dr. Blau's office getting made beautiful, Aaron Chewbacca-Singerman was in Richard Berg's office getting his colon investigated, you know, for intruders that might be in there that we were not aware of. So,
Bobby, when I'm not here, Dave.
We'll talk to him a little later.